All right, standing here on my deck, grilling. It's a beautiful, beautiful Friday, noon. My vacation's coming to an end. I want to get this video out. This is the most amazing collection I've ever seen in person. It is a man named Jamie who came to my attention I think it was over the winter, when he bought off of eBay a GAI slabbed Ty Cobb red portrait T206 card. And I did a video where I said, I don't know that this is real. And then I think it was Horatio, I'll actually put it up here. I think it was Horatio who put up a great article, or two even, on SI Collectibles by SI about it. And Jamie reached out to me after I did the video because he was not aware that he wasn't protected by eBay authentication. And it turns out it was fine. It got authenticated and got a good grade. We'll just see it here in a minute. The collection is spectacular. He's going to go through it. I want to thank, first of all, Chris McGill from Card Ladder, the co-founder of Card Ladder, because I couldn't find a place to do a good video with Jamie, like an interview style video. You're on the national floor. It is packed and loud. And Greg of Midlife Cards said, hey, Card Ladder has a spot, we can do it. And Greg took me over to Chris. Chris said, yeah, let me free up some spot, freed up some a space for us to do this interview. It was great. So thank you to Chris and to Card Ladder for giving us that space. This is not sponsored by them. This is, I tried putting up some pop report stuff from just SGC. PSA, I think, still doesn't break out T206 backs, so you can't really see. And the SGC pop report is a mess still. I did my best. And then I didn't add a whole lot to the interview, so you can't hear me because he has the microphone, which I had forgotten during the interview. But in certain cases where it's important that you hear my question, I put the text over. So that's all you need to know. Let's jump right in. So I'm here with Jamie. Jamie has a pretty spectacular set that we're gonna show off here. Let me flip the camera around. This is Jamie. Jamie, talk a little bit about yourself before we show the cards.
So I live in Long Island, New York. Been a vintage collector for about 15 or so years, and really got into the T206 set, and specific ways to collect that set would be back runs. So that's what I focus on, trying to get every single back possible for certain players, and I have about 6 or 7 players that I do it for, but most notably is the Ty Cobb red portrait run that I have assembled and disassembled and trying to reassemble. So that's what I was going to show today.
Let's open her up.
Let's open it up. So we have quite a few Cobbs here that I will be sharing.
And there are 31 backs, you said.
31 different backs, and of which you were about to see 29.
29.
So we will get those 29 out. There's 28 here because one's around my neck. That'll be the drum. And if we slide this bad boy here, give it a little more space. All right, so, I mean, the cool part is a lot of these cards have a story to them. Like this particular card, Red Hindu, there's maybe, I don't know, 7 or 8 of, and I flew out to California, met with David Hall, and did a 16-for-1 card trade, because he had 3 of the 8 or 7 examples were in his collection, so he did not mind sparing his lowest grade example, and I was just ecstatic to get any grade possible when it was this. You know, this was a card that when I first created the checklist, I assumed I would never put it together. I would just have to leave that one out for whatever reason. This one, I'll say, is the last one that I put together back in 2021 when I created the set of then 30. Because since I put together the set of Broadleaf 350 has been found for the first time, creating an extra card on the checklist, unfortunately for me, one day. So this card has a nice story because a collector flew out from California during COVID, landed in JFK. We did the transaction on the way to LaGuardia, and he flew back out of LaGuardia. He was probably in New York for about an hour and a half. The T214 Victory, one of 2 known. And then you get to just, the more common backs, because Sweet Caporal has about 5 or 6 backs. This is the 350, 460 with the Factory 25. As far as the Sweet Caporals go, this is a little bit of a harder one, maybe the most difficult Sweet Caporal back. And I'm trying to get all the cards in like a condition 5 or better. Now that I have, run into a brick wall with finding new ones, it's about upgrading them, as most collectors will do. Have to stay busy. And then, because they're the same front, I consider the coupons and the victory part of the back run. As far as the Type 3 Factory 8 overprint, this is the one of one, the only one of one that I have as part of the set. The other one of one would be that broadleaf 350 that I'm missing. So this card, actually, when I sold the cards, Heritage made a bunch of promos. So this is a promo card that Heritage was handing out, and I saved one just as a novelty piece. And I ended up buying back 10 of the 30 Cobbs that I consigned, paying a pretty hefty penalty, but I didn't want to part with them.
So you consigned how many?
I consigned all 30.
All 30, and then you bought back 10
I bought back,
exact copies.
That's right. I bought back 10 of my own cards and paid a $75,000 penalty.
How many years between?
Well, it was during the live auction. So I consigned the cards, and then 2 months later, while or like a month later, the auction was going, and I no longer needed to sell the cards. I found a buyer for a home. I was in a home purchase pickle. So I consigned the cards to just make sure I get the home that I was buying with no problems. And then I found a buyer for my home about a month later, and then I said, well, I don't want to sell these cards anymore. Let me put some very high reserves on them. Still about 20 of them sold, and 10 of them I was able to put such a high reserve I got them back.
Wow.
Yeah, so, but I wouldn't have found this one again. One of one, it would have taken me decades to locate it. So that's the Factory 8 overprint, very rare for a coupon.
Very cool.
And then, just the regular sweet cap roll back. This is a Factory 42, 350, 460, Factory 42. And a fun story. Let me see if I can find it real quick. So I just made a deal at the National for this card because it's graded 5.5 by SGC. And I was able to trade the exact same card that I had, which was a PSA 3.5 of this back, and a Tolstoy 1.5, and then 1,000 cash, and I was able to secure a higher grade. There's not a lot of 5s floating around at the National. So this is a coupon. This is a Type 2, but what's nice about this is it is honestly the nicest condition one I've ever seen. Just very clean. It kind of looks like it could have been opened in a pack just yesterday. Most of them are. Even this is a 4. That's pretty high eye appeal, 4.5.
Very high.
So that I've had some coupon collectors that have enjoyed seeing this, and I really enjoy showing the cards. I barely get a chance to show them, so I'm just so excited to share them with you. Now this is the Lennox Cobb. Lennox back, highly desirable, probably in the same category of Red Hindu, 7 or 8, known, and very happy to get one of these. Carolina Brights. The back, this is a card I'm trying to upgrade, but they're just so hard to find. I want to try and find one without the paper loss, but a 1 is still one that I could use as a checklist item for now.
You got a good eye.
Oh, and then, this is a 1 of 2. Very happy to get. This is one of the cards that did sell. I had the other example. There's 2 known. I sold mine in 2021, and then I was able to secure the other example just recently. This was about a $75,000 card. So, but very happy to get the blank back.
Yeah.
Cycles, this is the 460, and a lot of people don't know this. Normally the 460 is the more desirable, rarer, expensive card, but with a red Cobb, you find a lot more Cycle 460s than 350s. So actually it's the Cycle 350 on a red Cobb that will cost more. And here is that card, Cycle 350. Pretty nice eye appeal for a 2. I could probably resubmit this maybe. But as long as it has the nice eye appeal, that's all I care about. The Sovereigns, of course, you have the 350 and the 460. This is one of the cards that I secured back. That was one of the original ones.
The eye appeal on these is insane.
Oh, thanks, Mike. Yeah. Old Mill, PSA 4. Of course, you need that for the checklist. And some sweet, this is one I'm trying to upgrade at the show. It's a 2.5. I'll try and find my way to a 5. These are common though. Sweet Capital 350, Factory 30 is one of the most common ones you can find. So eventually I'll get there. Another one, very common, Piedmont 350. I only have it in a 2, but I'll be looking to upgrade that. So, as the journey continues. And now we get to some more hard ones. I haven't seen an American Beauty Cobb for sale in years. I had to buy this actually from the National. One of the vendors here years ago sold it to me. I jumped on it because I knew how hard it was, and I already have a person here that's been offering me it, trying to find an upgrade since it's just a 1.5. This is a really interesting story. This Type 3 coupon, right? So this is the non-overprint. Still a hard card, but nowhere near as hard as the overprint version. I don't have any problem sharing this because it's such a great story. I got this card, it was graded SGC Authentic when I first got it. This was, and some people don't know that the coupons come a little thinner than T206s do, and I looked at this card very closely, and I thought for me it looked okay. So this is about 7 or 8 or 9 years ago, I took this card at the National at Chicago. The show wasn't as big 9 years ago as it is today. Some of the space that we're probably in right now was maintenance area. And I asked the maintenance guys if they'd let me go into their area. They're having lunch, and they let me borrow a hammer because I didn't know the proper way to get a card out. And I have this card on the concrete floor at the National with a hammer chiseling away in the corners. I got popped out. I submitted it to PSA, and it came back at 6.5, and I was speechless for about an hour. So this is a really one of my favorite cards because of that story.
The hammer cob.
The hammer cob.
I love it.
This is a Type 1. Next to the Type 3 Factory 8 overprint, this is probably the most desirable and harder to find coupon, especially high eye appeal like that. No paper loss or anything. So this one is the one that you wrote an article on. It was pretty publicized. This card, it was in a GAI 9 holder, but that was fake. When I bought it, I thought I was getting the best condition Cobb I've ever seen. And even when I held it in hand, the fake slab still stayed intact, so it kind of tricked me. I'm not an expert in the GII holder, so I didn't know anything better, and I certainly thought I was protected by eBay. Thank you for informing me that foolish decisions can have bad consequences once in a while.
You had a pretty good result, though.
In this case, it did. So I submitted it to PSA. They informed me they would have to grade it raw, and I said okay, and the minimum grade of 5.5 was hit, and I was very happy because I sold this exact same card in this condition for $30,000, and I ended up purchasing it for $25,000, so fine.
So it came in the GAI 9.
Yeah.
And you set 5.5. Did you look at it and think it was a 5.5? Is that why?
No, I actually thought it was better than this, and I've had other people say this is like the nicest 5.5 they've ever seen. I just gave it a 5.5 because I knew that was the grade of the last one that I had, and I thought that this should surely get that. Some people said if I set it at a minimum 6, I might have had a chance at that.
I was going to ask, do you think that there's a chance that PSA will give you your min grade because that's what you gave it as a min grade?
In this case, I do feel like that. I feel like this could be a 6. I don't see any reason why, and I haven't had people really.
It's beautiful.
Say that's crazy.
Stunning.
That it could, yeah. So, but that's okay. The grade for me is irrelevant. Once I really enjoy a card, like the story on this card, I could never let it go. I love it too much.
So buy the card, not the grade.
That's right. Buy the card. Sovereign 460, much more difficult than the 350. One that I'll try to upgrade eventually. And then just some commons here with the sweet cap roll. Again, because it's a 3, I'll probably looking to upgrade it. 350, 460, factory 30. This one's okay. It's graded a 4. I don't mind it. It's 350, factory 25, slightly harder than the 350. Tolstoy, very hard to find in a 4 or higher. In fact, I have a 3.5 here. I got the 4 because that's how much that half a point meant to me. I know that Tolstoy Cobbs are typically found 3 and below. So happy to find a 4. EPDG, same thing. Very hard to find a 4. Just really into very nice high appeal Cobbs. This is a regular Piedmont, factory 25. And then the Polar Bear, which I recently upgraded this one from a 1.5 to a 4. And then I've been saving for last 2. I have been saving the Cobb drum and the Ty Cobb back. So let me get this out here. So here we have one of, I think, like 4 known, probably less on the pop report. I got this. This was the first actually Cobb I ever owned. I start this back run like I have started all my back runs. You knock out the hardest one, or you think that the hardest one first. In this case, it wasn't. But as soon as I got a drum, I said, well, and then I got the Lennox second, and I said, why not give it a try? I have a Lennox and a drum. Those are 2 really hard ones. And obviously, the condition here, it's just an authentic, but with 3 or 4 known, and this is very, very popular because everybody loves a drum back, and so Yeah, I've fully nerded it up by wearing a necklace at the show with it. And then, of course, this card has been a crowd favorite today because I put it on the back of my display yesterday. So this is the Ty Cobb back. There's about, I would say, 25 or 30 of these known. But as my good friend David Hall once told me, rarity doesn't always correlate the value. There could be 30 of these, but this is a very, very popular card. And although, the front is in rough shape, the reason why I was okay with getting this, because I sold mine, was a 2.5 as part of the Lucky 7 find. That was the one I sold in 2021. I was so okay with this because the back is the more important part, and it's for a 1, it's okay.
Can you show the front again?
Sure.
And the front, if I remember correctly, these ones have a glossier finish.
That's right,
than
almost
the
like the
others.
coupons. Yeah, if you look at the coupon 4.5, you'll see a very, very similar kind of shininess to them.
Yeah. Amazing.
So, thanks for letting me tell my story. I really appreciate it.
Yeah. Fascinating. So what's next for you?
Well, I have 2 more Cobbs that I'm searching for, the broadleaf 460 and 350, and then just kind of slowly upgrading these and enjoying meeting friends in the hobby and sharing the story that I have with these cards. That's it.
That's amazing. It's the best collection I think I've ever seen in person.
Oh, thank you, man. That's really nice. Thank you.
Very cool. Thank you for sharing your story.
Yeah. I hope everybody enjoys it.
Oops, I'm on video.